Good morning, this is Jack from Charles in the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Tuesday, the 17th of July. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm going to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, and not issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at Charles in the Markets or substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, now we've just had some news out. Slightly softer CPI numbers, mainly due to dropping oil prices over the last month. Now, obviously, a lot of that oil price reduction has been given back, but that won't show up for another month. So, how important is the news? Not particularly. Could it finally get us to an ES all-time high retest? Potentially. We are very close to the all-time high retest. In Q is the main problem getting there. Really, it's been holding SPX down, but even there, I've got a pretty decent looking, almost but not quite flag, and we could see a breakout from that today at the, if we can break and convert the monthly pivot at 30.0375. RTY had a very nice looking head and shoulders forming here, and we are testing the limits of that. Could go up into a high retest. YM could be forming a right shoulder as well, although it wouldn't be as nice. But after the decline we saw last night, it would be a lot better than it was yesterday. In terms of DAX, possible double bottom here. ESTX, not really a double bottom, it's more like a bear flag. Nikkei, we had an IHS that broke down. That's got a targeted retest today, but I've drawn this line in here because I think we might be forming a sizable bear flag. In which case, the obvious next target would be with a 60-minute buy signal fix this morning to get back above this level here, maybe up into about the 70,000, 70,500 area, and then potentially come down. So that's looking quite flaggy at the moment. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Okay, ES. Daily middle band closed yesterday at 75.28, and we are holding above it pretty well. Still got RSI 14 sell signals fixed on the daily charts across the board, and really with the Iran war going the way it is going, I am wondering about those. On the daily chart, we've actually got a possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing. Did it survive? Did it survive the last high? Sorry, I just need to check that. 1 second. All right. I still have a divergence. No, we don't. Calling that off, but we've still got the RSI 14 sell signal fixed. We are close to getting a retest of the all-time high. It would be nice to get one, because it is infinite financial business above, but we're not particularly close to getting that on the Qs chart, of course. In terms of the hourly chart, yesterday we had a possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing that fixed and made target. 15-minute chart, we had a RSI 14 sell signal brewing that fixed and made target, and we had some positive divergence on the RSI 5, although I don't usually pay a lot of notice to that yesterday. In terms of the Qs, did we close above the daily middle band yesterday? We did not. So we'd broken above it for a couple of days. We've broken back below it. No conviction break, and it is not acting as decent support at the moment. Gotta say, this RSI looks a bit like a triangle. Do I take these as consolidation signals? Yes. So this is gearing up to break out one way or the other. This kind of triangle, not that clear which way that's likely to be. Overall, this kind of looks like a triangle too. This would be a bullish triangle though, in all probability. We had a possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing on the hourly there too. That fixed and made target. 15-minute RSI 14 sell signal fixed and made target too. We've got a possible RSI 14 buy signal brewing here. Looking at Dyer. Dyer never reached the daily middle band, although it has been thinking about it the last few days. We have an obvious target below at the trendline rising wedge trendline resistance, and I've got that in about the 520 area. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts on IWM. And IWM, we don't have any divergence here. We are testing this rising support. We have gone through that once. I've got a head and shoulders, and I've still got a valid target down here in about the 28 5.7 area, I think, and I'm still wondering whether that might make target. In terms of DAX, still kicking around the daily middle band, closed slightly above it yesterday. Nikkei, we've got a potential little double bottom here I'm wondering about, but we have most definitely seen now a break below the rising megaphone. This would mean that this is likely in a topping process. The obvious topping processes are either to go back and retest the high here at 72.8k, or to fall towards the possible head and shoulder neckline, which I've got in the 62.3k area, holding well below the daily middle band at the moment. So that would be basically a one or the other. All right, looking at DX, we've broken above the flag resistance now. Have we broken above it with any confidence? No. What are the other currencies telling us? Not a lot right now, and certainly the inflation figures have given euro a bit of a bounce short term, and GBP, USD JPY, this still looks like a bullish consolidation. USD CAD is not looking that much like a bull flag at the moment, but I've not got an obvious target lower. Do we have a possible head and shoulders here? Yes, but it's too much for what I'd describe as an artist's impression of a pattern. I.e., it's something that could be that or could be something else. I like patterns which are more definite. Australian dollar may still be forming a bear flag. NZ USD, this doesn't really look like a bear flag, and actually this does look like an inverted head and shoulders, which has broken up. So hang on 1 second. That would be the neckline. Sorry, I'm just going to take a moment to mark that in. Where would that be looking for? Now, obviously, this is a pattern which could most definitely fail. But if it didn't fail, it would be looking for a target up in about the 59.65 area, i.e. almost back up at a retest this high. So I'll be watching that with interest. All right, let's have a look at bonds, which have reversed sharply higher. This actually, when I looked at it last, had reached the target level on the RSI, but this is why I never marked that in until the end of the hour, because obviously it's now well short of it, not even at the possible near miss target. So we've seen a sharp spike on that. I think maybe reality is biting, or this might be just a pullback before we see it go higher. ZN, this has made target 2, and when I reboot my chart, then that will likely fall back quite a bit, but this isn't quite as sensitive on this because ZN is much more lightly traded. CET coil, I've had a look at this, and these are inverted and shoulder patterns, so I've marked these in. I looked at these on the oil post I did today, and we have an IHS which is broken up with a target in the 91.50 area. I did point out a couple of reasons why it might stall on the way there, and why we might go. We might have a stall near the current levels for the rest of the week. I explained that on the post I did today. In terms of the pattern here, we had a possible weak 6-minute sell signal brewing, and but what I was thinking we might see here was a bit of a pullback, which we've seen, and then a retest of the high. That gives us a full-size 60-minute buy signal brewing, sell signal brewing rather. And I'm thinking that might then play out over the rest of the week. We shall see. We're getting pretty close to the retest of this high. I'd like it then to go a little higher, and then if it's going to fail, I'd like to see it fail on about the 82.50 to 83 area ideally. HO. I was looking for this to retest this high. It's gone through it with force. RBOB, I was looking for it to retest this high. It's gone through it with force. NG is still thinking about having a rally without actually doing anything resembling a rally. All right, now just to recap quickly what I was saying in the post today. Heating oil has actually broken up from a pretty nice looking flag with a target at a retest of 4.71. If we look at the daily charts on Brent and WTech, Brent, I was noticing, is only a buck or so below the 3SD lower band, and the bands are only just starting to turn back up and are not starting to expand yet. I think, generally speaking, you can see a very strong move go through this, but generally speaking, this will mean that you need a bit more time. So I'm thinking we're going to see a consolidation in this area subject to news, big piece of news could break it out a bit, but there's going to be quite a lot of pressure to consolidate in this area, and I'll be watching for that. All right, looking at WTIC, pretty much the same, except the 3SD upper band is a little further away. I'm again wondering about maybe going a little higher and then consolidating here for the rest of the week. We shall see. All right, let's have a look at GC. GC, I was wondering about a retest of the low, and I'm still wondering about a retest of the low. This could be forming a larger flag, of course, if we see a move up here. I'm not really expecting that to be sustained. Honestly, I don't think the news was that good, and I think it's pretty much entirely explainable by the amount that oil went down last month, much of which has already been reversed. And there's currently no real talk of peace, and maybe there will be some more of that in the next few days. At the moment, everyone's talking very, very harshly. In terms of the SI, wondering about a retest to low. Palladium still looks like a flag, but the flag hasn't even broken down yet. Platinum still kind of looks like a flag, but that hasn't broken down yet either. HG still looks like a flag, but that hasn't broken down back yet either. KC, this still looks like a bullish consolidation. SB is trying to break down for a double bottom here, but needs to get below the monthly pivot here at 14.57, and we've got a weak 6-minute buy signal fixed on CC. CC, hey Doug, CC has got a pretty clear possible head and shoulders forming. If this was to break down, this would have a target, well, firstly at the monthly pivot at 47.34, but I think the main target would be down at about 4,600. In terms of lumber, still wondering about a retest of the high. On CT, we are breaking up from a, sorry, I marked that in as an IHS. Sorry, it's a double bottom. This is, of course, an IHS. This was the very nice flag, which looks like it's breaking up. But I think there's reasonable interpretation here that this is an IHS, which is now breaking up with a target and a retest over the May high. This is actually matching more what we've been seeing on grains. Grains have been pulling back a bit, though. Here on wheat, we've got a double bottom, which is broken up with a target 670.5, 678.5 range. This looks like a little bull flag forming. Corn. No obvious pattern to the upside, but this looks very possibly a little bull flag forming. Soy, nice looking potential level top here, but short term looks like a little bull flag forming. ZL, we surprisingly took a while to reach this double bottom target. It has reached it, and I was wondering if it might go back to test the high up here. Again after that, and at the moment it's moving towards that. Possible bottoming action on live cattle. Still looks like a decent looking bear flag, again with a little level top here on live cattle, and I'm wondering if this might be about to break down. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions. Oh, hey George, I was talking to you. I think I was talking to you. Anyway, whatever. I think there's no questions, so I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. All right, cheers.